that He will bless our gathering and our disperse after it as something that is accepted, and not to leave among us anyone who is prevented from His mercy. He is the one who is capable of everything. Amen. So we still continue our topic about some of the incidents in the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ. And our topic tonight about the Battle of Badr, the great Battle of Badr. In it, Allah descended Surah Al-Anfal. Allah started, they ask you about the Anfal, tell them it is to Allah and His Messenger. So fear Allah and correct what is between you, and follow Allah and His Messenger if you are believers. In this beginning of this surah, there is a reason where it came down. Where the scholars, they mention it in the explanation of this, that there was an incident between the companions about the things that are collected from the war, the things they gained from the war. Allah Azza wa Jal, He took their hand from this and He made it back to His Messenger. So He, alayhi salatu wasalam, divided evenly. And this is the choice of Allah. It is better for them in their religion and in their life from what they fought for. That's why Allah said, just like Allah took you from your house in the truth, and some of the believers who hated to leave, they are arguing with you about the truth after it is clear to them, as if they are dragged to the death. The explainers, they said, what Allah is making examples of, as Allah had taken you from your house, what is it that is resembling that to? Ibn Jarir al-Tabari, he said, he have a beautiful indication for this on the reason of where what Allah is resembling this incident to. The incident of Allah has taken him from the truth. So some said in the correct that the Muslim, they need to fear Allah, to correct what is better, and to follow Allah Azza wa Jal and His Messenger. As if Allah said, just like when you were disputed about the money and you were competing for it, Allah took it from you and gave it to His division or His choice and His Messenger, and He divided it evenly in justice. And this is the complete interest for you. And when you hated to go to fight the enemies, that hate that you had to the fight, that Allah has put it on you and made you see your enemy with no appointment, and it was good for you, and it was victory. So you competed on the money that you gained from, or what you collected from the war. Your soul wanted to. Allah chose for you what is better for you, that higher status, that what is much better for you. And this is what the example. Always remember that Allah chooses better what you could choose for yourself. Allah the Almighty, just like He made the matter of the gains from the war and kept it to Allah and His Messenger, because this was the correction for the society. The same thing, Allah has taken you to your enemy with no preparation for, and with your hating to do that, there was a lot of greatness, there was a victory, there was a lot of gains you get out of it. This is the resemblance that Allah is doing in here. Just like it was the goodness of Allah's choice for you to refer, to take the division of the gains of the war to Allah and His Messenger, because that's the most just for you. And same thing, Allah has made that you live in your homes and to fight your enemies, the enemy of Allah. Allah made it more than what you hated to do. And this is the example that Allah is trying to make. It was in the second year of Al-Hijrah in Ramadan, and the Prophet ﷺ knew, and the believers, that a big caravan for Quraysh was coming back from Sham, and it has a lot of money for Quraysh. Was 50,000 dinar, and the profit at that time was very high. It was like 100%. If someone invests, if he had 100,000, he will get 200,000. And we said before, there is no limit to the profits. It all depends on demands and also on the deal between people. Because not all trades are the same. There are some that are very slow moving. The profit in it is very high. People when they buy bread, it's not the same like the profit you put on cologne. Cologne has a higher margin of profit, but the bread is little because you sell more, and it's every day. And remember the example of the Prophet ﷺ, who told Urwa to go and give him 2 dinars, told him, give us, he gave him 1 dinar, I told him to give a lamb. So he did go, and in his way back, he found someone who paid double the price. So he went back and bought one with 1 dinar, and then came back and came to the Prophet ﷺ and gave him the dinar back and gave him the sheep. But then the Prophet ﷺ told him, what did he do? He explained to him. He said, oh, Allah bless him in all his deals. And he said, I used to go to the market, spend 1 hour, and I'll make 30,000 dinar in 1 hour, because of the blessing of the dua of the Prophet ﷺ. So anyway, the Prophet ﷺ, he knew that the Quraysh, they have a carnival that's going to pass by Medina, and it's going to pass by. So he told them to read, may Allah give them that carnival as to compensate the money that was stolen or taken away from them by the people of Quraysh. They were kicked out of their homes, and they took Quraysh took all their money, all their possessions from the believers. And he, والسلام, he rushed in leaving. This is not a battle. This is a small incident on a carnival. It's just to go against the carnival to take our money back. So the Muslims did not have all their military capability. They just went light weapons. That's why the Prophet ﷺ rushed with whomever was ready. He did not wait for those who want to go, so he will not miss the carnival. So they only had 300 fighters, and a little bit more, and some of them 100 from the Muhajirin and the rest from Al-Ansar. So the majority were from the Ansar of Al-Madinah. The Prophet ﷺ, he allowed Hudayf al-Nasiba not to come to Badr because they promised the people of Quraysh not to fight the Prophet. So he told them to fulfill their promise. We need to understand that part. It's very important. We'll discuss it soon. The Prophet gave permission to Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman and his father not to witness Badr because they promised the disbelievers of Quraysh not to fight with the Prophet. So he told them to fulfill their promise. I said, if they ask you support a religion, then you support them unless there is a covenant between you and another people. And this is very important to understand from the political point of view in nowadays activities. Anyway, in one of the disbelievers the disbeliever wanted to go with them. He tried twice. The Prophet refused to take him until the man embraced Islam, and then he followed the Muslims. You can use the non-Muslims when there's a need, but in the first battle between Islam and disbelief, it's very important that they are separated. Those who fight in the sake of Allah and those who don't. The first, but they have to be different camps. The Muslims, they had 70 camels. Every 3 they ride a camel, and they have 2 horses. So the army is not in its full capability. It's not going to take a big battle. They want to take the carnival. Amin. The Prophet ﷺ, he was, and Abu Lubaba and Ali ibn Abi Talib, they were on one camel. So they wanted to let him ride the whole time. And they walked. He said, you are not stronger than me, and I'm not also not in need, like it's not like I don't need that reward from Allah, from you. This is an example of the Prophet, the leader in this time, and imagine the effect of this in the hearts of the companions. When he was 55 years old, he's not a young man. He's 55 years old. Yeah, alayhi salatu wassalam. So he put in charge in Al-Madinah Abdullah ibn Maktoum to pray, to lead the prayers. And he told Abu Lubaba, he told him to go back so he will be in charge of Al-Madinah. You don't leave the Medina with no leadership. And this is the importance of who is the Emir, who's going to lead. So there will be no chaos. And they don't leave the leadership to ignorant people. If 3 people leave on travel, they need to make one of them as their leader. And this leadership, it has to be from the residents, not from people who are traveling. Ali ibn Abi Talib, he said, people need leadership, whether it's good or bad leadership. They said, the good one is good, but what about the bad one? He said, would it at least the rights of people are observed? You have to fight the enemy, so people have to gather against the enemies of Islam. We're not talking about leaders who don't observe Islam, but if they have some, they're not perfect, that's fine. So Abu Sufyan, he heard about the Muslims coming to take that carnival, and he was leading the carnival. So he took another path, and he took one of his people to Mecca, so they could come back and protect their own wealth on carnival. So when Quraysh heard about this, they all went to fight for its carnival, and it was like a lightning on them, the news. So they rushed to go out, and they tried to find everyone who can go with them, not like the Muslims who just took whomever was ready at that time. So they did not have no one. Everybody was there except Abu Lahab. He sent someone behind him, and he told someone, "I will pay your debt. You go and fight in my behalf." And Quraysh was very mad, and what they thought what happened, it was humiliating to their honor and downgrading their status among the Arabs, and it's fighting against all their financial institutions. So everybody who was hesitant about going against the Muslims, he went against the Islam at that time. And they reached 3 times the amount of the Muslims. They were about 1,000 fighters. When the Prophet wanted to know the news of his enemy, how much they are, how many, he asked one of the servants from Quraysh. He said, "I'm not." He said, "How many camels they do?" He said, "Sometimes 9, sometimes 10." So he knew it's because each camel is enough for 100. So they are between 900 to 1,000. And that carnival escaped the Muslim army. So Quraysh wanted to go and fight. They wanted to make it an opportunity to repair their reputation. They wanted to drink alcohol and to kill all the Muslims. So the Arabs will fight them after that. So some of the combatants, they said, well, like it's not organized. They did not go to fight. They're not ready. They're not their best strength. So it's going to have some negative effect on them. Allah said, and part of the believers, they hated that fight. They did not hate the fighting that Allah put on His Messenger, or they hated something that Allah has put. No. They just felt a burden on their soul to fight. Like Allah said, Allah has prescribed the fighting on you, and you don't like it. And you might not like something, and it might be good for you. Like when you make wudu. Allah said that, the Prophet said that the heaven was surrounded by the things that you don't like. Meaning, it's not like you don't like, it's just the things you don't feel good about doing. And the Shaykh is makers be aware about the words in here. When Allah said that part of the Muslims, they hated, that means it was hard on them, and to take it. It's not, they don't accept it, they accept it. Because they did not have their full strength in fighting, so they were afraid that the results is going to be catastrophe. And Allah gives you the promise that you have one of two. Either get the war, or you get the money. Allah knows the whole thing is in His hand. Allah said, and you want that you have the strength, and Allah wants to establish the truth with His words, and He will cut the strength of the disbelievers. The people of Ansar from Medina, they were double the amount of the Muhajirin, and the covenant is to protect the Prophet ﷺ in Al-Medina. So did they go beyond the agreement they have with the Prophet ﷺ? With this change so if the leader is deserve the leadership, then it's not like forever. Anyway, the Prophet ﷺ, when he had that alliance from the Ansar that they would protect him from what they protect themselves in Al-Medina, now they are outside the Medina, they are outside that whole city. So the Prophet ﷺ wanted to know that are they have alliance with him or no. So he starts saying, consult with me, people. So Abu Bakr stood up and he said, I'm with you and all of this. So the Prophet ﷺ told him, I don't mean you. So Umar stood up. He said, sit down. He said, this is not what I meant when I said consult with me. When he repeated consult with me, people, then the Ansar, they knew that he is talking about them. Because when they gave him the covenant, they said, oh Prophet, we are before he made the bay'ah in Mecca, they said, we cannot do nothing to you until you come to us, to Medina. Once you come to us, you are under our protection. We protect you, but we protect our sons and wives. So he was afraid that the Ansar don't think that they have to support him, except for those who come to attack him in Al-Medina, not outside Al-Medina. So he wanted to clarify this. So Sa'd ibn Mu'adh stood up. He said, as if you are talking about our Prophet. He said, yes. He said, we believed in you. We witnessed that what you came with is the truth. And we gave you our covenant and to obey you. So go, Prophet ﷺ, what you want, we are with you. With Allah who sent you with the truth. If you want to take us in the sea, you took us there, we will go with it. Not a single man will fall behind. And we hate to see an enemy tomorrow. You will find that we are patient, stuff in the war. May Allah show you from us what you will be happy with. So go in the blessing of Allah. So he was very happy. He said, go and have glad time. Allah has promised me one of the two. By Allah, I have seen where they're going to die, that this believer going to die. The Prophet ﷺ, he gave the leadership to Mus'ab ibn Umair and two wings to Sa'd ibn Mu'adh and Ali ibn Abi Talib. They would dispute in the disbeliever army. They start having disputes. Utbah ibn Rabi'ah, he thought, okay, the carnival is already safe. Why shouldn't we be? That should be enough. We should not kill people and then we'll have revenge with our blood, because those who migrated to Medina, these are relatives to us. Why shall we have more animosity when they're our own families? Sometimes non-Muslim who have a good thing. But Abu Jahl, he insisted that he will fight, and he overcome his others. So they wanted to go to see how many Muslims are there. And the Prophet ﷺ made dua against Abu Jahl. The Prophet ﷺ made dua against Abu Jahl. May Allah have peace and blessing on the Prophet ﷺ. And that night, it was an amazing night in the night of the Prophet ﷺ. Ali ibn Abi Talib, he narrated how the Muslims spent the 17th day of Ramadan, and in front of them is the disbelievers' army camp. He said, I saw on the day of Badr, all of us is asleep except the Prophet ﷺ. He used to pray close to a tree, and he kept praying and making dua until he woke up. And we had like a little bit of rain, so we went under the trees to cover from the rain, and under the skin or the leather, and he alayhi salatu stayed asking Allah, and he said, oh Allah, if you destroy these people, you will not be worshipped after today. So when the Fajr came, he said the prayers, so people came in from underneath the trees and the skins, and they prayed behind the Prophet ﷺ, and then he encouraged us to fight in the sake of Allah. Ameen. So the companions, they gave a small tent for the Prophet ﷺ, so he could take the leadership. When the disciple came in close, he told his companion, go get up for a heaven the width of heavens and earth. So one of the Ansar, he said, heaven, between heaven and earth, he said, oh, how, he said, he tried to say, I wanted to be among the people of heaven. Then he told him, you are among the people of heaven. So he took some dates, he was eaten. They said, if I lived until I finish those dates, it is a long life. So he threw them away from the dates, and he went and he started fighting until he died. Umar Khattab says, he kept making dua. At the time of Badr, the Prophet looked at the discipline, and they were 11, and his companions are 300 something. So he went to the Qibla, and he kept calling Allah, oh Allah, fulfill your promise to me. Oh Allah, give me what you promised me. Oh Allah, if you destroy this people of Muslims, you will not be worshipped on earth. And he kept asking Allah, seeking Allah, with his hands up in the heavens, and his garment came down, and Abu Bakr came to him, and he started to put his garment back on his shoulders, and he tightened it behind, and he said, it's enough asking Allah, He will fulfill His promise to you. And Allah descended, when you are seeking your Lord, and He gave you that I will send you with 1,000 of the angels, very strong. So he left, they will be defeated and they will run away. And the hour is their promise, and it is worse than this life. So the Prophet ﷺ, he threw some sand in the direction of the disbelievers, and it reached them all. And this is what Allah said: well, you did not sin, you didn't throw when you throw, but Allah is the one who threw. So He could test the believers, a great test. Allah is all hearer and knowledgeable. That doesn't mean that you have to do. Some people stupidly think that you do not throw when you throw. But what Allah has said, that He did the throwing, but he did not succeeded what he threw. It is Allah Azza wa Jal. It's Allah who made it successful. It's Allah that made it reach, because every throwing, it has a start and an end. So from our part we have to do the start, and from Allah is the end. So the servant always start, and Allah Azza wa Jal have the results. Just like plants, Allah said, do you see what you cultivate? Do you plant it, or it is us, Allah? Allah, He did not say that people are farmers, because the opening of the plant, it is Allah. Because Allah proved that they do plant. So He proved it from where it starts, but the result is in the hand of Allah. So that's why Allah said, you did not get the goal or the target when you had thrown. It is Allah who made it reach its destiny, reach its target. It is Allah the Almighty. And then and the Shaykh is saying, don't say that Allah is the one who do everything, otherwise all the prayers, everything else will be done. That's not true. That's the point Shaykh is trying to make, that you have to do the start, and Allah do the results. And in that battle, a lot of the leaders of the disbeliever died. On top of them is Abu Jahl, who the Prophet ﷺ said he is the pharaoh of that time. And Mu'adh ibn Amr al-Mawth, and another young guy killed him, and they don't even know him. Abdurrahman ibn Auf is the one who told them who he is. And they told him that they wanted to kill him because he cursed the Prophet ﷺ. And Ibn Mas'ud, the one who finished the killing. And Umayy ibn Khalaf and all the other leaders of the disbelief at that time, they died. It was proven that the angels fought with the Muslims in the battle of Badr. And we declare it on people, and we do not hide this. Allah made it a Quran. Allah said He has made you victor, and you were humiliated. So fear Allah, so you will be grateful to Him. If you tell the believers, isn't it enough that Allah support you with 3,000 of the angels strong? If you are patient, they will come from Allah, will give you 5,000 of the angels also. And Allah didn't do it except a glad tidings to you. So your hearts will be calmed. And remember that the victory comes from Allah, the mighty, the wise. Another verse where Allah said, I aspire to the angels, I'm with you, so support those who believe. I will throw in the hearts of those who disbelieve is the fear. So hit from the top of the necks and hit every bar, because they have the will challenge Allah and His Messenger. And Jibreel came to the Rasul. He said, what do you think of the people of Badr? He said, they are the best of Muslims. He said the same thing with those who witnessed Badr from the angels. Those who witnessed the Badr among the angels, they are in the same status. So the battle of Badr finished, and the Muslims were victorious. That Allah gave to the servants, the believers, and they killed 70 of the people, and they had prisoner of war of 70. Then the Prophet ﷺ ordered that the seeds from the disbeliever, there will be wells of Badr, and then they were closed, and the Prophet ﷺ buried the Muslims after them. On the third day, he stood on the wells when Aqwa Mu'ayt came, and he put all the leftovers of the killing of the camels and put it on top of the Prophet ﷺ, and they all died disbelievers in Allah, and they were thrown in their faces to be thrown in the well in Badr. And the Prophet ﷺ, he stood on the well and he talked to them, and he says, are you happy that, don't you wish that you obeyed Allah and His Messenger? Do you see what Allah has promised you? I have seen what Allah has promised you, to be truthful. So Umar said to Rasulullah, why you are talking to deceased bodies? They have no soul. He said, by Allah, they are more hearing to what you see, but they cannot answer. But I said, Allah has made them arise, so they will hear to him, as humiliating to them. It will be a regret for them. The Prophet ﷺ, he advised to take care of the prisoners of war. And because of that, if one of the combatants had like a piece of bread, he'll give it to the prisoner, and he will eat the dates. Seems like the date was the common food, but the bread was something precious. So if they had some bread, then he was to give it to his prisoner, and he will feel shy and give it back, and then he insists that he will take it because of the advice of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He ﷺ consulted with Abu Bakr and Umar about what to do with the prisoners. Abu Bakr said to take the ransom. He said they will be, maybe Allah will they help us against the dispute. But Umar said no, kill them all. And the Prophet ﷺ took Abu Bakr's advice. Then Allah said, no, it was not allowed for a prophet to have prisoner of war until they are strong on earth. If it wasn't for a book from Allah, then you would have had a punishment from Allah. And Allah said, eat from what you are given as good for you. Before Badr, the gains from the battle used to be gathered, and Allah can come in and burn it. But Allah allowed the Muslims to distribute and use that what they gain in the battles, and He blessed it for them. And we have mentioned what happened between the believers and how Allah Azza wa Jalla has taken that dispute and made the decision to the Prophet ﷺ, to Allah and Messenger, and He made 20% goes to the public needs, and then the 4/5 went between the fighters. This battle was a test on the importance of the faith on the heart, because those who left Mecca and the people of Medina, they're one family and they are like cousins. But when the religions are different, then the battle started. And you know the famous story when Aziz ibn Umayr was taken prisoner for when he was with the Muslims who were taken prisoner for, and he thought, and he's their leader is Mus'ab, so he expected that his brother will help him. So Mus'ab to the prisoners, he said to those who took him prisoner, he said, take care of him, his mother is very strong, maybe she'll bring you a good ransom. He said, this is how you take care of your brother? He said, these are my brothers, you're not. They're my brothers without you. After that battle, a lot of people entered Islam. Some of them, when they found that the Muslims are strong, some went voluntarily, some went as hypocrites. Inshallah, we'll continue on this, our meeting, inshallah.